Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pink Shade. It's Tuesday. It's TLC Tuesday. How do you like it, Kimberly?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, TLC Tuesday. I like it.
Simple.
Yeah. Everybody forgive my voice. I am suffering from some sort of sinus infection, which, as you guys, if you've been listening for a long time, it is a long time problem that I have. I have had a surgery. Maybe it's time to do another one. I don't know. But anyway, that's what it is. It's all in my throat. And it's pretty funny that it's all in my throat when we talk later in this episode about gonorrhea of the throat. Because this podcast has a
Gross.
history of saying that I have gonorrhea of the throat.
Gross.
My former co-host Erin one time said that I had gonorrhea of the throat because my throat was always giving me such problems, and she said maybe you have gonorrhea of the throat. First of all, I didn't know that was a real thing. Neither did she, I don't think. And it was a joke because my throat always hurt. And so now we find out not only is it a real thing, but you get it from giving somebody oral sex.
Yeah.
So yeah. Wow.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. Is your microphone teal?
No, that is the straw from my.
Oh, okay.
It just happens to line up perfectly and look very cool.
Yes, it does. And your Chiron is still, I don't eat chickens or people.
Yeah, I did not have time to change it.
Didn't have time to come up with something clever. Neither did I. I'm barely alive. But I've got an antibiotic and a steroid pack. I'll be starting that right when we're done. So for the rest of the week, you guys just hang in there. It's probably going to get worse before it gets better.
I know.
A lot of that. A lot of coughing going to happen. All right. Really quick, I wanted to update. People have been asking me a lot about the pre-nouveau body scan that I got.
Yeah.
Lots of people have asked for the code. I've given it to them. And I did talk to the doctor this week to find out updates about my results.
Your pre-nouveau did not show your gonorrhea of the throat.
It sure didn't.
Because you didn't have it at that time.
No, I didn't. But what would they have said? They did tell me I have a deviated septum.
Oh, they did.
Mm-hmm. Which I got fixed with my last sinus surgery. So I guess it just pushed its way back over.
Yeah, I think mine did that too.
Weird.
Yeah.
So we talked about
doctor said it's still deviated, and I was
yes,
like, what did I get that surgery for then?
Exactly. So the white spots on my brain can be caused by sleep apnea.
Okay.
And it's very common for people over the age of 35 to have these white spots. And I only have one, and you could have many, but it has a lot to do with your sleep health. It could.
Okay.
Since I've never had a concussion or played any sport that would give me a head injury.
So are you going to get a sleep study?
I probably should.
You can get an at-home one. You wear like a little monitor.
Yeah, John did that. Yeah. Then let's see what else. What else did we talk about? We talked about all my spinal stuff. And yep, we know that it's all there. And he also said that for people like me that had been on the GLP-1 shots, that yes, it is good for weight loss and getting your A1C down and things like that for pre-diabetic conditions and all that. But what it does is if you're not like bumping your exercise way up while you're doing it, then you lose a lot of muscle. I was like, well, let me explain to you. I had no muscle to start.
Yeah.
I'm just tissue and fiber and bones.
Yeah.
There's no muscle anywhere in there. And he said, well, just like your basic muscles that you would just have as a person, you lose a lot of your muscle mass being on the shots if you're not doing like weight bearing exercises. So I was like, okay, I hear you. I've got to go back to Pilates.
Yeah.
Let me think about what else. I talked to him for like an hour. I talked to him for a really long, and
wow.
I went into it thinking I already understand all this because it was, and nothing was like major or upsetting or anything like that. He really kind of talked to me about what they're doing, and they are going to be adding some services that would be more like heart related because they just do a scan of the heart, but it's not like a detailed one. And that is a big cause of problems for people in my age range.
Yes.
And I said, a lot of people my age drop dead when they're jogging.
Yeah.
And it's a heart issue. And he goes,
for women,
heart disease.
A heart disease is like the number one cause, and the symptoms are different than
with men. Yes. And we were talking about that. And he goes, that's right. So we are doing leaning more into that. So maybe if you come back and do it in 2 years, maybe we'll have something more comprehensive. And then I said, it's just another reason people shouldn't jog. And he enjoyed my joke.
Oh, good.
Yes, he did. So anyway, guys, I still have that coupon. Everybody let me know if anybody wants it. So many people have reached out to get it and asked me. I was like, it's just prenuvo.com and you have to find the one nearest you. And if you're not in a major city, you're probably going to have to travel a little bit like I did. I mean, I'm in a major city. I still had to drive an hour to Bethesda to get it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought it was very worth it. And I'm going to use my code and send to my husband.
Yay.
Yay. He knows. He's excited. He was like, oh God, they're going to tell me I have all these things wrong with me. I was like, I thought that too, but then everything was fine pretty much.
Yeah, you were pleasantly surprised.
I was pleasantly surprised.
We all were. We thought there was way more things wrong with you.
Well, they're like that white spot on the brain. That explains a lot.
I was
Explains
hoping
a
it'd be
lot.
bigger and I could just take over the podcast.
Oh, Kimberly, too soon, too dark.
I have no interest. Mary Payne works way too hard. I'm not interested in working that hard.
Yeah, speaking of working hard, so next week, October 2nd, the new Love is Blind is coming out on Netflix. And we're all from DC, my area. And Keisha and I will be covering it. And I do believe on October 2nd, when all 6 episodes drop on Netflix, all 6 of our podcasts will drop on that day as well.
Wow. That's crazy.
I might break it up into 3 and 3, over 2 days' time. We're just going to see what continues to happen with my throat and how I will add 6 extra podcasts in between now and then.
And do people have to watch to listen? Because I do not watch that show, but I love listening to you and Keisha.
No, I don't think you have to watch to listen, but it is. I mean, maybe you could just like Google it and see what the people look like.
Yeah.
So then because there's at the beginning there's lots of players before people pair off.
Mhm.
So it is good because like people or whatever will have here are the contestants or whatever you call them. So yeah, if you could just get like an eyeball on them, then you might. Yeah. You heard us talking so much about how that one guy, Freddie, the British guy, was so hot.
Yes.
So hot. Still is. Hasn't lessened his hotness since he's been off.
Wait, and is he a jerk or is he a nice? No, he's a nice guy.
The girl that he picked was a jerk.
Oh God.
And I was like, girl, take a look at what you got here. Don't fuck this up. But she did. Okay, so spoiler alert. Okay, let's talk about Before the 90 Days, season 7, episode 4, Revelations.
So I don't understand. Are we going from literary references to biblical references?
I don't know. And also, before we start, I have a bone to pick with Katie that I will pick with you via surrogate.
Oh God. Okay.
I heard on your Patreon her rant about Stanley Cups. And I'm a proud owner of 3 Stanley Cups.
The rant was more about the accessories. Those videos with the accessories seem ridiculous.
That's what you
To
think,
add
but I
20
recorded
pounds of
what
weight.
she said exactly. I recorded what she said exactly. And I'm going to be doing a reel about it.
Okay, that's fine.
Mhm.
She might have said,
Appreciate
"It's
it.
just a cup, I don't get it."
No, what she said
I
was, "This is."
have a big cup here. It's just an Amazon brand, whatever.
No,
I
she
don't know what
she
brand
liked
it
that better. She liked that better. She said, "I can't be friends with anybody that has I'm gonna have no friends left because I can't be friends with anybody that has a Stanley Cup," is what she said.
I don't recall that part.
That's what she said. And I
Okay.
screen recorded it so that I can make a reel about it in my spare time, of which I have
Okay.
none. Also, I'd like to announce that next week, after the Welcome to Plathville finale, I will have an interview out with Olivia Plath. I'm doing that tomorrow, but I'm going to hold it until
Yay.
after the finale.
I
Okay,
love
but
you.
now
I
we
love life
are going
with
to.
you. I love life with you. I
No, I
love
love
life
you.
with you.
No, I love you.
I love you
No, I love
so
you.
much.
No, I
I
love
love
you.
my life with you.
I love you. Listen, it's fun to be young and in love.
I know.
It is. All right, let's talk about this. Before the 90 Days, season 7, episode 4, Revelations. We don't know why they're going to books in the Bible, but we are. Okay, so we're going to start with Tigerlily and Adnan. So it's wedding day for the happy couple. He wakes up, he's singing to her, and is he happy because he got laid or because he's going to get gifts for the wedding? But her bedhead, she has been doing some work on her back because her
Yeah.
hair is crazy in the back.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's all the okay,
Yes.
when you sent me that I had mentioned to you
Mhm.
baggage and Shekinah, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you found it, the video.
Somebody sent it, a listener sent it to me from TikTok.
Yeah, and I had forgotten what the baggage was, which was she wears a pound of extensions
Uh-huh.
on her head,
Yes.
and then she says, "I have a strong neck," when Jerry Springer says, "Doesn't that hurt?"
Right.
H how many how much do you think is Tiger Lily's extensions?
Mm. I think Shekinah has definitely upped it to 2
Oh, you
pounds.
think so?
Mhm. Because
Well,
she's
I
got
think
way
Tiger
more hair
Lily
now, way more
yeah,
hair now.
yeah, definite and way more lips.
A lot of differences on her face.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm. I mean,
um,
I could have been convinced that it wasn't her. I could have been
yeah,
convinced, like, that's not her,
it just
except
kinda looks like
for
her.
the
Yeah,
voice. Yeah.
it wasn't as pronounced.
You guys look this up. It's a Jerry Springer episode called
No,
What's Your
it's a show
Baggage?
the show is called Baggage. It's a game show called Baggage.
Oh, so it's not from the Jerry Springer show, he's
No,
just the host?
Jerry Springer's the host. It's a game show. My brother's friend was on it,
Wow.
and there are 3 rounds, and in each round, you reveal what your baggage gets progressively worse, and these people are effed up in the head. Some of this
Mm.
baggage is terrifying, like serial killer terrifying, and then the person has to decide, do they wanna continue on with this person? Do they wanna go on a date with this person? Is this a deal breaker?
Well, what was the deal breaker for Shekinah? The second thing she said was the deal breaker after the pound of hair. It was something else she said.
I don't remember.
And then the deal breaker, and then she said what he didn't see, her third thing to reveal was that she left the Amish to do a celebrity sex tape.
Yeah, that sounds right. Wait, who does she sleep with?
Unclear.
Huh,
Huh? Who knew? Um, okay, so how did we get to that? I don't know. So, oh,
because of Tiger
bedhead,
Lily's bedhead, yeah.
bedhead. So, Shay and Cruz are going to come over to help her get ready. And Shay and Cruz are a couple. We have confirmed that. They're not.
Okay, good.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are. They're going to come over to help her get ready, and he's going to get ready with his favorite brother there. It's a big wedding. It's over 200 people. He's planned every second of it. Tiger Lily says, "I've never even been to a wedding before." I'm not going to be able to do it with this voice, guys.
You sound like an alien robot.
It's really not gonna. You're just gonna have to
An
pretend
alien
I'm doing.
robot with
Mm,
throat gonorrhea.
you're gonna have to act like I am. Sound like a Kardashian because I'm
Well,
not gonna be able to do
in our newest
it.
episode, the one we just recorded for A Date with Dateline that's coming out on Wednesday, I did an impression of Tiger Lily, and it made Katie so upset, I had to stop. It was, like, hurting her ears.
Okay, well, let's hear it. Let's hear what she says here about going to a wedding. You do
I
it.
don't remember what she said, I'm sorry.
She says, "I've never even been to a wedding
Oh,
before."
right, right. I've never even been to a wedding. Well, because my husband didn't want me to have friends, so whose wedding would I go to?
That's what she said.
Yeah,
That is what she said. And she said she had a small family. She's 41 years old and has never
never
been to
been
a
to a
wedding.
wedding.
Um, and so
Wow.
then Adnan says to Cruz, he says, the rules in Jordan, Tiger Lily cannot be alone with you. So, and also you can only touch her hair. And Shay, you're in charge. And he does like the, I got the eyes on you. You're in charge. You have to stay in the room if he's in the room. And they're all like, what?
Yeah.
Um, so Osama, the videographer, arrives with his assistant, Mahmoud. Wouldn't it be funny if it was the Mahmoud we knew, but it's not. It's another
Wouldn't
Mahmoud.
it be funny if it was the Osama of Osama?
That would be funny.
Miss
It would be
Debbie's
funny. Um,
Osama.
And she says, "So Adnan arranged for a videographer, but then when they arrived, they were men, and I was confused because I'm not supposed to be around men, but then Adnan's the one that booked it." That is confusing.
It's very confusing.
Um,
What are these rules?
um, it doesn't make any sense. So Tiger Lily is now talking to Shay and Cruz about how great it is that she is Adnan's most prized possession. And they were like, "Yeah, it's kind of a version of control." And she goes, "I just think it's cute that he loves me that much." So Shay goes,
Why do you
"Okay,"
want
like,
a possession?
Shay goes, "So I can, like, secretly leave the room and go do my makeup, right?" And she goes, "No, you can't leave." because there's a videographer there.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
ask, like, are there security cameras? Is he watching?
Yeah.
I would not be surprised
Me
if
either.
at some point in their marriage, he is watching her.
Just like the first husband.
Yeah.
So when the talking head Shane Cruz were like, we really can't believe she's saying this and acting like this because this is why her other marriage ended. It's like she has blinders on, like she doesn't see the similarities. So Adnan is now going to his favorite brother Thayer's room. And then as he walks in, I don't know if this is his cousin, but somebody jumps on him toddler jump style like they do on The Bachelor, like monkeyed onto him.
I'm telling you, this family, there's a lot of man touching.
It's very homoerotic,
It
very.
is. I enjoyed it.
Oh, you did? Okay. Adnan says they've been working really hard to make sure the wedding is perfect. They've got the filming going on, they've got a DJ, they've got food, they've got flowers, and a fire show. And he's wearing like American style tux. She's in an American style dress. So he's not even doing like traditional dress. It's
Hmm.
interesting to me. So now his cousin, the cousin is telling Thayer, after the wedding, you make sure he gets that stamina inducing honey. And then again, they start talking about rock hard penises as
Yeah.
they all like massage his face.
Is it actual honey? Or
Are you
is it
looking it
drugs?
up? Are you looking it up?
Should I?
Mhm. I've got honey in my tea right now, but
Honey for
I don't think anything's gonna happen to me. I think it's gonna just throat coat my throat. All right. You look it up.
Oh,
Oh, there is some?
yeah.
Okay, what's it called? For all you guys out there, what's it called?
There's there's a several,
Oh,
but I
there's
still can't
several.
figure out if honey is oh, yeah, this is honey packs for him.
Oh.
Um, honey energy support, they call it.
Oh, okay. I got you.
That's code.
Energy.
Yeah.
That's code, right.
Mhm.
Mm. So again, they start talking about the rock hard penis. They rub his face and they literally say to him, make us proud. Don't go to sleep right after the wedding. Why are they so invested in his sex life? This
It's
is,
bizarre. That's
we've
what
never
happens when you are what am I trying sex is
repressed.
repressed your whole life is you become so obsessed with other people's sex life.
I guess, but the question we've seen lots and lots and lots of Muslim men.
Yeah, it hasn't
And we
always been like this. Not at
and we
all.
haven't seen
Mm-mm.
groups of Muslim guys talking about their rock hard penises and their
Mm-mm.
Viagra and their honey and
No.
stamina and go all night long and don't get
This
tired
must
and
be just this group of friends.
yeah, yeah. So, all right, so back in Tiger Lily's room, Shay is asking her about the sex, like, how was it? And she goes, it was great. It was really good. Yeah, everything was good. And no, like, we didn't ever really take a break or anything. It was great. And so they go, how does he know what to do? Like, how would he know?
I mean,
And
to be fair, we just criticized him and his friends. They're doing the same thing.
right, but they're not make us proud, go all night,
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
Let me give you some drugs to make sure you don't embarrass me with your lack of sexuality. I mean, it's weird. It's like a family badge of honor. We gotta have the most
Yeah.
sex in our family or something.
Yeah.
Um, and then Shay says, porn is illegal in Jordan. So I don't know how he would learn anything. And then she goes, I have no idea how he knows what to do. Like, aren't men just like born with it? Like, isn't it like caveman stuff? Like they naturally know? I mean, they
Uh,
know how to naturally put
not
it in
with
a hole, I guess. But I mean,
positions, I don't think.
right. And how to like make your woman happy and all that.
No, that's not caveman style.
No. I mean, and maybe in their cult, I
These
don't
friends have talked about it.
yeah, imagine what they're not saying.
When
If they're,
the cameras aren't there.
yeah. So then they're talking and they're trying to figure out why it's okay for the camera guy to be there, but Cruz can't be there. And she's like, I don't understand. Adnan's gonna have to let me know like what rules are okay to be bent. And I don't want to get in trouble. So Cruz can't come in here if you're not in here. And she says, I don't know. I'll find out eventually why the rules are the way they are, but I've got my whole life to figure it out.
Or you could have figured it out before you got married.
Or could you
No,
text
that's
him and just be
crazy.
like, "Is it
That's
okay
crazy.
for this cameraman to be in here?"
Yeah, just ask questions. Google things.
So back in the boys' room, his brother tells him, "I've never seen such a handsome groom before, and I never will see one more handsome since."
Let's just do it right now.
I mean, let's just rage fuck each other because I mean, what's so he says, "I just can't wait to see her hair
Yeah,
and makeup
yeah,
and her dress."
yeah, and her
Not
personality.
what I meant to say was, "I love her so much, I can't wait to see her walk down the aisle."
Yeah,
But what instead he said was, "I can't wait to see her hair and makeup and her dress."
yeah,
They're married, but today will still be emotional because they're going to do the ceremony in front of friends and family.
yeah.
Now, as he has his eyes closed and she walks up behind him and taps him on the shoulder, and they shoot this very dramatic scene as they turn around and stare into each other's eyes for the camera.
Yeah.
And they both like, "You look great. No, you look great. You look amazing. Your hair looks so good. Your makeup looks so good. No, you look great." Then they get into like a Rolls Royce to head to the wedding, and all the people are honking in celebration. And as they get out of the car, it's like, "Lee, lee, lee, lee," and everybody's like cheering. It seems very overwhelming. And she's like, "I don't know what I'm doing. Oh my God, this is so
No, she's like,
crazy."
"I didn't think I would be Princess Diana."
Right. Well, yeah. Yeah. And that's it for them. So y'all, I don't know how it is at your house, but at my house, every week there's a never ending list of projects to get done. And we're always like, yep, we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. Oh my gosh, next week we're going to get that screen fixed on Anna's window. But we never get around to it. We are too busy. So, we're coming up on the weekend and I'm like, hey, I got to fix this screen. Oh my gosh, somebody need to pressure wash the house. I got to build this dresser. I got to clean out the garage. And, none of that sounds great on the weekends, especially when I've got so much trash TV I need to be watching. So, for all the tasks you need to do but don't want to do, there's TaskRabbit. TaskRabbit connects you with skilled taskers to help with cleaning, moving, furniture assembly, home repairs, and more. And many taskers are available to help the same day. Okay, I went on taskrabbit.com and I booked a tasker to come to my house and clean my gutters. And guess what? While he was here, I was like, you know what? Can you fix Anna's screen that is hanging off the front of the house? And he did. It was so easy, guys. I'm not kidding. You just go, you click the thing, you type in your zip code, you type in what you're looking for, and boom, a bunch of people pop up. And yes, some of them were available either that afternoon or the next day. I booked somebody with 2 days' notice, and the guy was here. It was so easy. And guess what? My husband didn't have to clean the gutters because we're not the handiest people in this house. So to get started, you can go to taskrabbit.com or just get the app. The app is really great too. Search the best tasker for your job based on cost, skill set, availability, and past client reviews. I looked at those past client reviews and I was like, I'm not going to take anybody under a 4.5, but there was hardly anybody on there that was that low. So it actually was kind of hard because everybody looked great. Now you're going to schedule your tasker early as the same day sometimes. And once the tasker has completed the job, simply pay, tip, and review. I did that all. It was all on the app. Taskers have assembled over 3.4 million pieces of furniture. Oh my gosh, I could have used that when I was moving John into the dorm. They have done 700,000 home repairs and completed 1.5 million moves and more. Gosh. Plus, with TaskRabbit's happiness pledge, if you're not satisfied, they will work to make it right. Tackle your to-do list today and get 15% off your first task at taskrabbit.com or on the TaskRabbit app using the promo code Pink Shade. That's promo code Pink Shade at TaskRabbit, TaskRabbit, taskrabbit.com for 15% off of your task. TaskRabbit, book trusted help for home tasks. We have a new couple. I texted you about this couple because this is going to be your couple. And I was like, I'm so excited to hear you talk about them because I love Niles. I want him to be my friend.
Yeah,
And I'm going to go to Ghana and hurt Matilda if she hurts him.
exactly. We all are.
Yeah.
We write at dawn, "Matilda, we're coming for you. You
Yes.
seem nice, but
She
we
does
have."
seem nice.
I know, but we're on edge.
Yeah.
So, this is Niles Valentine, 27 years old from Mobile, Alabama. And we get our intro with him. He's at a place called Engage Gaming for games and geeks. And he is playing a D&D type game I don't know if it was actually D&D TM proper,
Right,
but
right.
he's playing with 2 guys. One of them is wearing a hobbit type hat with a dragon on his shoulder. I loved it so much. I
They were
love it.
very cute. The whole thing was so cute.
So cute, so awkward. I loved it. And then his hero shot we see is him cleaning his glasses. So adorable.
He's so
Um,
cute.
and he tells us he loves these fantasy role playing games because he loves symbiosis, and then wonders if us dummies that watch 90 Day Fiance will know what that word means.
Is that word too big for
Yeah.
your audience?
For your
Yes.
audience.
Yes.
So growing up, Niles always felt different and was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. And he says he has trouble with social cues. He can be very blunt. And then we see him at home where he's burning some bacon, but that could not have been bacon. That was the blackest thing I had ever seen.
Well, when you burn bacon, it looks like a little piece of charcoal that's
It
flat.
That was horrendous.
Yeah.
He explains how he gets overwhelmed by sounds, smells, lights, other things that people might not notice, but his senses are very heightened. It almost sounds like he's a superhero. He's like, my senses are all heightened. That table over there is mahogany. I can smell it. It's a very
Oh,
distinctive smell.
I thought that was interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew they got sensory overload very easily, but I didn't really realize it was because their senses were, like, more heightened than other people. I
Me
thought
either.
the senses just bothered them more.
Me
They were
too.
more aware of them.
Yeah, me too.
Um, so he goes to his job where he works as a peer advocate. Not totally sure what that means, but he works with people, and it seems like they hold classes on people who have differences, functioning in society, helping them.
He's an
Very
advocate
cool.
for his peers.
Yeah,
He takes the peers' concerns
yeah,
to the administration of the facility.
sure.
Yeah.
So, he greets all his coworkers, and then when they say, "How are you, Niles?" He says, "I'm still here for the most part," and he says it to everybody, and they ask him why he uses the same response. He says, "Well, repetition gives me security." I think he probably practiced that at some point in the mirror, and it worked for him, so he does it.
Yeah.
Um,
Or
and
somebody laughed one time and he was like, "Oh,
One time, yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah."
and now he says it every day. He tells his coworkers, "Next week is my trip. I'm going to see Matilda. She is 23 years old. She lives in Ghana. They met when she slid into his DMs,
Mm.
and she thinks he's great, and he thinks she's so beautiful and wonderful, and they talk every day. She knows all about his autism spectrum disorder. She loves him for who he is, and he's going to meet her for the first time. And he's eventually hoping to bring her to America. But slow your roll. He wants She wants to get married on this trip, and he's telling the coworkers this, and they're like, we are concerned,
Yeah,
and I'm glad they have his best interests at heart. All of us are concerned,
yeah.
and, they said, "Okay, so what happened?" And he goes, "Well, I just loved her so much, and I couldn't wait, so I kinda proposed a few, like, months ago, and I thought it would just be like, 'Hey, we're engaged,' but she started planning that wedding."
Mhm.
She has a binder, she has the flowers, she has everything, and he thought it was more of a symbolic engagement.
Mhm.
So is like, "It's moving way too fast." And they said, "Well, have you told her that?" And he says, I have to confess to you, I have not. I am going to tell her when I get there that we are not getting married on this trip." And the coworker says, "Well, why you need to tell her before you go. Are you scared to tell her?" And he says, "Yes, yes, I am." And that's where I got very concerned. I was just like, "Oh god, no, he's scared of her." And he's like, "I think she might break up with me." And
Oh,
I thought, "So sad." So, after work, he goes to another job, food delivery. See, Lauren, this is how you have multiple jobs. It's not, I work at this place for 1 hour a week, and that counts as one of my jobs, which I
right.
suspect is what Lauren does.
Yeah,
Um, look at, Niles. He's working, like, 2 jobs in one day
yeah.
for many hours.
Yes.
So, um Niles is concerned about how much he's gonna be spending on this trip, so that's why he's trying to make extra money, and he thinks he'll be spending at least 3,000 on this trip. I thought that seemed very low, for
Mm,
flights and hotel and stuff. How much is a flight to Ghana?
I don't know. From Mobile, Alabama, you've got to get to a major city first.
Yeah,
You know, you got like 1 or 2 flights to get to somewhere that flies to Ghana, and then
yeah,
you gotta stop at least twice. I mean, that's a lot of flights for
yeah,
somebody who's on the spectrum and is overwhelmed by sounds,
yeah.
you know? Yeah,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
yeah,
He's gonna be like Rain was at the airport, like, just so many people and different than her small town with the chickens.
right.
But he's gonna be
She was sca
nicer.
she was
He's
scanning the floor for chickens at all
Yeah,
times.
where are the
Yeah,
chickens? But he's gonna be nicer about it, we know. Because Niles is an angel
yeah.
and Rain might be the devil. So, he's also worried about the bride price because if they do end up getting married on this trip, he has to pay that. He doesn't know how much that's gonna be. Um, and he's like, "That's one of the reasons I don't wanna do the wedding now because I wanna wait till I can really afford it, and also I think we need more time to get to know each other." He's the
Yes.
most logical, reasonable person. Compare him to what's her face in Florida?
Veah?
Yeah, Veah.
Yeah,
Like, Niles needs to counsel everyone on the show. So
yeah,
but he does need to tell her. And so every
he
time he
does.
tries to tell her, he masks, which is when he sort of just pretends and goes along with what the norm in the conversation is. Because when he's been blunt in the past, which is how he tells the truth, it's really blunt. People get upset and he ends up getting hurt. And so he's coped by learning to just not tell the truth and to mask. And like if you know you're going to get shocked by the fence, you learn not to touch the fence. And
Yeah.
so he's learned when I am blunt and tell the truth, I get hurt. So I'm just not going to tell the truth. I'm just going to go along. So she calls him and they love each other so much and they miss each other and she can't wait to hug her babe and treat him like a king and he's like I'm going to treat you like a queen and that means we're royalty. It's very lovey-dovey. Um
I felt like she was like I felt like the edit that they gave her, because when we see her later, she doesn't seem this way. I felt like the edit they gave her made it seem like she was, like, overbearing. I think they're trying to make us think like she's a scammer, but she's not, you know?
I thought she seemed very sweet, like, they seemed like teenagers in love, kind of. Like, to me, that part felt genuine.
I felt like the way that it was edited, it was trying to make us believe that she didn't really feel that way.
Doesn't
She's just, like, saying the words to hook
Right,
him in. Yeah,
right. I want to believe.
I do too.
I am s Mulder.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, 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 I wanna believe too.
So she says, I've been telling everyone about the wedding, the whole neighborhood and my family and my friends and the church and the people at the store. And I went to the surrounding villages and told them too. I went to everywhere. Everyone knows about our wedding. And he tries, bless him. He says, I think we might need more time. And she says, nope, we're getting married at the end of your trip. I
Yep.
hope you will not disappoint me. Wow.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's why it
That's
made it
the
seem
guilt.
like
Yeah,
just
that's when I, like, got very nervous.
yeah,
And he says he's just can't tell her. He says, he just gives up. And so they start, "I love you more, I love you more. No, you hang up first. No, you hang up first." Um, so he hangs up and then he tells us he's very astute for a guy in his 20s on this show. Normally, the guys on this show are dicks and idiots. And he is like, if I tell her about the wedding, then she'll feel rejected. And I don't want to do that to her because I have felt that rejection my whole life. And I don't want to put that on her. And it's like, oh my God.
I know he's so sweet and so, like,
Like
well-spoken and, like
wise in his way
yes,
too.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, able to really say how he's feeling, like, exactly, I
Yeah.
don't know. He's so nice. He's so
Um,
nice.
I kind of wish one of his coworkers or friends was going with him. I mean, if Veah can have an emotional support person, can we
Yeah,
get Niles an emotional support person to maybe tell her on the phone before? Because he still thinks he needs to tell her in person when she's already planned the wedding, though. Like, when you get there, that's too late because she'll already have planned the wedding.
Right, and then also, if he doesn't know the bride price, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because if he
He might not have the money for it.
might have
Yeah.
the money for whatever they need to buy, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Next week, it looks better. Okay,
I'm
speaking of
rooting for their love.
I am too. I
Don't
am
let me
too.
down, 90 Day.
Well, that's a tall order. Um
I sound like the people on this show. I know he's lied to me so many times and he's cheated on me 5 million times and took my money. But I really think this time is different and he's gonna change.
he's
That's
changed.
me with this show.
Yes. Yes, it's 10 years of abuse.
Mhm.
So, now we're gonna go to the aforementioned Veah and Sunny. So she's leaving Florida in less than a week.
Can I just
She's a
admit
physical
something?
what?
I really, really was trying not to do this. I really hate criticizing women's voices because my voice has been criticized and I know how badly it feels. Shirley
Mm,
MacLaine.
never
But
forget.
her voice really bothers me.
What does it sound like? I can't think right this minute.
It's so high pitched and screechy.
Okay.
Like maybe she has a sinus infection.
Well, as you could
Your
tell,
voice doesn't bother me at all.
my voice isn't high and screechy. My house is
No.
low and Angela are like
Yeah.
a 3-day bender. Yeah. Yeah.
Just that I feel really bad saying it, but I feel like I'm amongst friends, so please no one come at me. Just let me know if anyone else feels the same way, because
Okay.
I feel like it's just me right now on this island.
I'll pay more attention to it next time.
Okay, thank you.
So she's a physical therapist. So I mean, that's it's a hard profession to do. It's a hard profession to get.
Yeah.
PT school is hard to get into.
Yeah.
So
I'm
she's
in
yeah,
PT right now.
yeah. PTs are like doctors. I mean, so good for her.
Mhm.
So she says, I'm leaving in less than a week. I'm feeling like everything's going to be fine. I've been working really, really hard, and that has caused problems with us because we don't get to talk as much. So she comes home and she's on the phone with him and she goes, I really have got to go get in the shower. And he says, oh, take me with you. And she goes, no, last time I had to go get a new phone because my phone got wet. She's like, no, please take me with you. Please take me with you to the shower. She goes, okay. So she sets the phone up so they can talk while she's showering. And they're like fully showing her like blurred out naked. And he's like, you're so sexy. I can't wait to take a shower with you. And she's like, I know. So
He
in the
is
talk,
Muslim.
um, it's sort of like Adnan. He just picks and chooses.
Different strokes for different
Yeah.
folks.
So the talking head, she says, yes, Sonny is Muslim and his parents are very strict, traditional Muslim. But he goes out drinking and they're not supposed to do that. And he's going to stay with me at the hotel when I come there. So he's not supposed to do that either. So she's like, would your parents be happier if you were with a Muslim girl? And he goes, yeah, they would. They would want me to be with the Muslim girl. And she goes, so do you want me to become Muslim? And he says, well, I don't want you to become Muslim, but as your boyfriend, I will ask you because that's my job. She says, well, then if you're asking me to become your religion, then you want me to be your religion. Like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
I think his point was, no, I don't want you to do it, but I have like a duty that I
I
have
have
to
to
ask you.
say that I asked. Yeah.
Yes. So then we see a photo of her and she's like a little Mennonite or Pentecostal or Amish or something.
She is another Shekinah.
Yes. And she says when she was young, she was adopted and forced into a religion where they had to dress a certain way and go to church all the time. They were super controlling, even down to the way she ate when she went to the bathroom. So she's very wary of religion, especially if it's
Yeah.
anything with her being controlled. So good for
Yeah.
her. Yeah, she's aware of it. That's good.
I get her. I mean, I have extreme anxiety and I have no excuse like she does.
Mm. So sorry about that. So in the talking
Anyone would
that
have anxiety after growing up in a cult like that.
I mean she was bounced around to foster care and then
I know,
she
it
was
sounds
adopted in
just
this weird family.
absolutely
I mean,
horrific. Yeah.
God. So in Talking Head, she says, I don't want to jeopardize my relationship, but I'll never change myself for him. I would never convert for him. So that was good to hear.
Yeah.
But I think he's just saying it, but he doesn't really
Yeah.
mean it.
It doesn't seem like he's cares that much.
So she has a cute little crate for Zira, her dog. a little pink crate. It's cute. And then she's packing a little doggy backpack for Zira, so she can be ready to go to the dog sitter. And she's like, it's overwhelming to leave Zira. I've never been away from her at all. But and then Rory has arrived, and she was like, but maybe Zira will get a new daddy out of it.
Oh my
And,
god.
and Rory's like, all right,
Don't have the dogs call the man daddy.
it's too much for
Nicole
Zira.
and May, they get attached, and it's very confusing.
So the talking head, we meet Rory, and he says they've known each other for 6 years, and they dated for 2 years, and they parted as friends, and now really they are very best friends. And he goes, I don't know how I got roped into going on this trip, but I know her and I know her ways, and she would be lost without me. And so I would worry for her safety if I wasn't there. Look, if we were in a horror movie, she'd be the first to die.
Yeah, he's like, "You remember Taken?" That would be her.
That's her.
Then before she even steps out of the airport.
Yeah. So now we're at the dog sitter, and she's given a lot of instruction. She's like, okay, if you have friends over, I put her in a diaper. Her favorite treats are cucumbers. I pack the cucumbers. If you go outside at all, put sunscreen on. And he goes, to go outside, I have to put sunscreen on your dog. She goes, yes, she'll get a terrible sunburn.
I guess that's true. I have heard that. I've never
Interesting.
met a dog that has that, but I have heard that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's real. They sell it.
so
Wow.
that's funny. So then she tells us another terrible story, Kimberly. Another one.
Oh god, this girl's life has been tragedy just over and over.
It really has. So she is at the coffee shop with Rory, and she tells us, Rory is as close to her because he is as close to her as he is as a best friend because he has been with her during the worst time in her life. Her closest sibling, which was her best friend, Cody, they were only 1 year apart, so they were kept together when they moved them around. The foster care, remember, there were 8 kids. A few years ago, he was shot and killed by law enforcement.
Oh my god.
And at the
I
same
take back
time,
everything I said about her voice.
she and Roy were pregnant, and the
Oh,
stress caused them to lose the baby,
so horrible.
and they dealt with the loss of the baby very differently, and the stress of the whole situation is what caused them to break up.
This poor girl.
She's been through it. She has been
And she's a
through it.
physical therapist.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's a great oh gosh.
Helping people. So now she's chatting with Rory about Sonny, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, like I am nervous to meet him in person. We've had ups and we've had downs. We've had so many great memories. Like he was like on FaceTime for my birthday." And Rory goes, "And so like, how's he feel about me coming?" She goes, "Yeah, I didn't tell him about you coming." And he's like, why didn't you tell him?" And she goes, he can get really mad and pissed off. So I don't really like that side of him. So what I'm going to do is just avoid it and take you with me to a foreign country and see how he reacts in the moment. Um, and
I
Rory
think
goes,
she's gonna hide him and just not tell Rory or not tell what's his name. Just, like, keep him in a different hotel, and she'll just go, like, run back and forth
I don't know
between
what
the
she's going to
hotels.
do. And Rory says, I don't like going into a situation like this. Like, what if shit goes south? Like, and then I'm there. And she goes, yeah, I'll just have to get there in person and read his vibes and then like see what's, and then I'll just like let you know what's doing. Sorry about that. It's crazy.
He seems like a doll, though. He seems
He
very
does.
sweet.
He does. So at least we know that at some point she had this very nice boyfriend. So
Yeah.
her picker's not totally off.
Right, right.
Hey guys, have you been plagued this summer by underboob sweat? Yeah, I have. You need to listen up because I am about to turn you on to one of my absolute favorite products. It's Lumi's Whole Body Deodorant Stick. It's a whole body deodorant stick. Lumi is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Okay, you can use it in your armpits, you can use it between your thighs, you can use it on your belly button, you can use it in your butt crack, and you can use it under your boobs. And even on your feet. Oh my gosh. This was created by an OBGYN who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. It is clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. I can't recommend it enough. Now, are you ready to make the upgrade to Lumi? This is a special offer, okay? New customers will get 15% off of all Lumi products with our exclusive code and link. Use code PINKSHADE at LumiDeodorant.com, okay? LumiDeodorant.com, and the code is PINKSHADE. Lumi's starter pack is a perfect thing to get for new customers because it comes with a solid stick deodorant, a cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like a mini body wash or the deodorant wipes. The deodorant wipes are also amazing, and free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code PINKSHADE. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off their starter pack. What are you waiting for? This is like a no-brainer. Use code PINKSHADE for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. That's code PINKSHADE at LumiDeodorant.com. And thank me later. This episode is brought to you by iRestore, the clinically proven advanced hair growth system designed for women who want to say goodbye to thinning hair and hello to volume. Y'all, we talk so much about hair on this podcast, and the Facebook group is full of ladies chatting about their hair. And it seems a lot of us are riding that hair struggle bus. Like, do your shower walls have enough hair on them that you could build a wig that we would then talk about on Wig Court? Mine is. So if you're tired of dealing with thinning hair or hair loss, listen up. The iRestore Elite is the most powerful device on the market, packed with 500 lasers and LEDs to provide maximum scalp coverage to help you grow thicker, longer, healthier hair. The FDA cleared iRestore Elite harnesses the power of low level light therapy, LLLT, a clinically proven method to regrow thicker and fuller hair. It's the most non invasive, pain free, and drug free way to bring your hair back to life. The combination of 500 lasers, that's a lot of lasers, 500 lasers and LEDs ensures that every inch of your scalp receives the light energy needed to stimulate cellular activity, boost blood flow, and reduce inflammation. Those are all crucial elements in reversing your hair loss. With the iRestore Elite, you can sit back, relax, and binge watch your favorite show. I suggest Love After Lockup. So then you're looking at those wigs and you're like, yes, I'm doing the right thing for my hair. The iRestore Elite will work its science-based magic on your scalp. You're going to grow thicker, healthier hair naturally with visible results in just 3 months. No drugs and no surgeries, just the most advanced technology with real results. For a limited time only, our listeners will get $625 off when they use code PINKSHADE. You guys, $625 off your order when you use code PINKSHADE at iRestoreLaser.com. That's iRestoreLaser.com. Promo code is PINKSHADE. I'm going to spell it IRESTORELASER.com. Promo code PINKSHADE. So in a 4-month double-blind clinical study performed by a board-certified dermatologist, 100% of study participants grew more hair with iRestore's laser and LED technology. You can feel confident you're buying a system with proven results. All right. Are you ready to get medical grade red light treatment at home to regrow your hair? For a limited time only, again, you're going to get $625 off your order when you use code PINKSHADE at iRestoreLaser.com. That's iRestoreLaser.com. Use promo code PINKSHADE. Hair loss is frustrating. You don't have to fight it alone. Thanks to iRestore. All right, let's go to Brian and Ingrid. Now, we did see on social media this week that when Brian went to film the show with Ingrid, he was currently married to one of his other wives.
Yeah, and we don't know yet if Ingrid knows about that.
Right. She knows she learned some shit this episode, and she ain't
Yep.
happy. Yeah.
Mhm. So, he's excited to wake up snuggling with her and she's not into it at all. And he's trying to snuggle. They didn't have sex, thank God, and he has put boxers on, which is a step up from rubbing his naked peen up against her last
I
week.
gotta tell you that a listener wrote me and said that her husband, something terrible happened and he was in a coma for a
Mhm.
while. And that eventually, listener, I apologize for getting this wrong, but it seems like she said her husband was in a coma and was at home, um, or she was helping him rehab or something. Anyway, the same situation happened where she had to do that catheter condom thing.
Yeah.
She said, "You absolutely do not have to have an erection to put that on.
No,
That
and
is not true."
actually, another listener of yours that was like a nurse said the exact same thing because she's like, I'm not a nurse and I am not going in and like making sure someone gets a
Yeah.
half chub
Do you
to
have a
put
half
it
are
on.
you got a half chub? Are you ready for
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Also, they seemed surprised they were using that condom method and it wasn't some sort of like permanent catheter system. Um,
I'm surprised by that too.
but yeah, I don't really totally understand. But
Mm-mm.
anyway, he admits he went too fast last night, throwing her in the deep end, but he hopes she catches up quickly. I think what's throwing her is that you lied, like you misportrayed yourself. You portrayed yourself as being very independent, and then you asked her to help you with all this stuff, and you were naked the whole time, even though you just met her and said, "Help me put a catheter on my naked peen."
Yeah, and they got into bed naked with her.
And she was not into it. She was covered up. She gave you
Yes.
no indications that she was into it.
Yep.
So he asked, yesterday, was that a lot to handle? And she says, yes, yes. I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Please be patient. This is all very new for me. And so he gets dressed by himself like he normally does. So he's not testing her this morning. And she starts to wonder, why did he say he was independent? I think he's just testing me to see how patient I am and how much I can put up with. And that's exactly what is happening.
Yeah.
So they drive to her hometown and it's a very long ride, which means it's long enough to have some secrets come out. So he wants to meet her family and friends. She has not told almost anyone, especially her parents, because her parents are very difficult and hard headed, and her dad is the pinnacle of ignorance. He sounds great. So
The
Brian,
pinnacle of ignorance.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that's how
Wow,
she
wow.
describes her father.
Wow.
So Brian thinks it's the manly thing to do to meet her father and say, "Hey, I'm banging your daughter who's half my age and she's the 42nd Brazilian woman that I've proposed to,
Mhm.
and I'm in a wheelchair." That's secondary to all of this other stuff that I
Real
just mentioned.
yeah,
Um,
totally.
so he says, "I really want to meet him, and I'm not gonna take no for an answer." I don't love that. So he wants to just show up and surprise the dad, like, "Hey, Poppy, banging your daughter." And Ingrid's like, "Nope, that's no." And she says he's always been like this. He's very set in his ways. He's 52, sorry, he's 54. And Brian goes, "Oh, he's my age." And he is delighted to hear that they are almost the same age, not grossed out at all. He is
Mm-mm.
happy about this. And Ingrid says, sorry, what? And he says, "Well, I'm 51 and your dad's 54. We're very close in age." And she's like, she thinks there's a translation problem with his
Yeah.
Portuguese. She's like, 51? Brian,
Yeah.
51? She keeps saying it in Portuguese, like, that, no. And he laughs and he's like, "Ah, you knew how old I was. Come on, silly girl." And she's like, "You told me you were 45," which she had told us. And I thought, did he lie or what's happening here?
Well, I was just like, if they've been talking for 5 years, maybe he was 45
Yeah,
back then, and she just hasn't
she hasn't
added
done
it
the math.
forward. Yeah.
So they've been talking for 2 years, and they met when he was supposedly 43. That's what he told her, and
Wow.
on his dating profile, it said 43. So
Wow.
she thinks he's 45, and he says, "No, I never lied about my age. I'm proud of my age. I totally told you about my age. Who do you believe, and why is it Ingrid?"
I mean, he also laughs and goes, "I told you you were the same age as my daughter," as if that was a selling point.
Yeah.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
gaslighting her into thinking like it's gonna make her second guess herself and be like, "Wait, did I mess up? No, I don't think so."
I'm
I
starting to
went,
see why he's had so many failed relationships.
"Uh-huh." So I totally believe her on this. So she's like, so he lied about needing help with stuff. He lied about his age. What else? And that's when I thought, do you know that he's married right now?
Yeah, currently, yes.
And also, do you know about the huge number of wives and fiancés
Yeah,
that
probably
he's
not.
had?
Probably not.
So He's like, "There was just a miscommunication. It's not a big deal. Age is just a number. 5 years isn't a big deal." And I was like, "It's 6, you idiot."
6, yeah.
Also, it's not, and he goes, "It doesn't change anything for me." Why would it change anything for you?
Right.
You knew her age. Nothing changed for you. I hate him. Episode 4. I already hate, because he's trying to gaslight us now.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a big deal to me. Well, because nothing changed for you. It's a big deal to her.
He's really awful. He's really awful.
He's so awful. And so they have this like 4-hour drive, and now she's just cranky and like is questioning the whole thing. And he's talking about how much he loves driving because it gave him so much independence after the accident. And then she says, "Okay, so let's talk about the accident. How did it happen? You never told me in detail." And he goes, and he gets all quiet, and then he tries to play it off again with the laughing. "Oh, I never told you I sold drugs. Did I ever tell you that?" And she's like, what? No." And he's like, "Oh, I never told you? Oh, silly, silly girl. I think I told you that I did drugs. You're crazy." Like, again, the gaslighting, the weird phrasing, like, that makes her second guess everything. And she's like, "No, tell me." He says, "I sold drugs and used drugs for like 5 years. I was married to my second, I think his second wife at the time." Was it I think it was his second wife. I could be wrong about that.
I feel like it was his second wife, yes.
And he's like, "I drank a case of beer a day and I did cocaine every day. And I was living the high life. I loved it. I thought it was so cool and fun and exciting. My family stopped talking to me. They were very, upset with me, but I was making more money than all of them put together. So I didn't care." And
Bad.
bad. And he said, "One day I looked in the mirror and I looked like a zombie. I didn't recognize myself. So I wanted to get out. So I told my wife, I don't feel love anymore," because she was very in that lifestyle, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So he's like,
Yeah.
"I don't want to be in this anymore." And she wasn't happy. And then 2 months later, or a month later, a month or two later, these guys came up to him with a gun. Brian tried to grab the gun and he fired the gun, but it hit him. So essentially, he shot himself by accident. And that's how he made it sound. And
Oh, I didn't hear it that way, but then
he said,
I was
"I pulled a shot," or "I did a shot," and he, like, made a gesture, and then he goes, "But I didn't think the bullet would hit me."
he did like an arrow, like, through his yeah.
So he's like, "So that's how I got paralyzed," and then afterwards, my ex-wife confessed that she ordered the carjacking.
Yep.
So, which Mary Payne had heard already from the scoop, the grapevine.
Yes. I had heard that scoop and
Yeah.
that she told told the carjacker to, like, take his watch and then do the carjacking, yeah.
So Ingrid is very upset to hear all this, especially that he was a criminal and in that drug world, because she's never used drugs. She hates drugs. She doesn't want any part of it. To be fair, he's not in that now. And
Right.
but she sounds like she is going to maybe use this as an excuse to get out of this relationship.
Yep.
Um so, which I don't blame her, because
Same.
there's been a lot of other red flags.
Same,
So
yes.
she's very pissed, and he's like, "These things don't matter." And then she's like, "They matter to me."
Yeah.
And she's like, "What if we get married and you go back to drugs?" And he's laughing, and I was kind of getting annoyed with him that he's laughing again at her concerns. That's now
Yeah.
like the third time.
Yeah,
And
he does a lot of, "Oh, Ingrid,
yeah,
you
"You're
crazy girl."
so dumb, silly
Yeah.
dumb girl." But and then she says, "Well, maybe you'll go back to drugs, or maybe you're only not selling drugs now because you can't walk. And if you weren't in a wheelchair, you would be still selling drugs." That
Yeah.
seems kind of like a low blow, but she's very pissed. So,
Yeah.
and he's very hurt and offended because he's changed. He's completely turned his life around. And he says, "Everyone has a past, and I'm
Yeah.
not embarrassed about mine." And so she's trying to just process all the new information that she's gotten since he's arrived. It's been a lot. And
Yes.
he arrived last night. Um, and I
Hmm.
still don't think she knows about all the wives and fiancés. He's like
I bet.
Henry VIII, and he's gonna have to go through all of his history with women.
Yeah.
So, she's also dealing with her beliefs, which are she was raised not to date drug dealers, which I think not a lot of people on Love After Lockup were raised with those,
Well, you
guidances.
start out that way, but sometimes it doesn't turn out that way.
Doesn't
Yeah.
turn out that way. So he goes down to they get to the hotel and he goes to the pool, and he can get in and out of the pool by himself and, like, swim. So the testing that he was doing with her is just
It's
very
really
frustrating. It
very.
Because you can do all this stuff by yourself. You
Yeah.
just wanna test her. But he's mad at her for being so judgmental, and she just feels like if he had told me this first, I would not have agreed to this trip
Right.
and would not still be seeing him. So I feel like he waited to tell me strategically until he got here, and that feels like lying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're both mad at each other.
Wait till Sonny gets to the airport and wait till
Yeah.
Faith finds out Lauren's secret.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Um, okay, speaking of Lauren and Faith. So it's the first morning in the Philippines. They were in separate rooms and they're going to the market. It's a big Asia, big market. And he only has American dollars. He has $46. And she goes, "That's all the money you have?" He goes, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, because I'm waiting on something's pending." And he tells us that he spent all of his savings just getting there. And he's waiting on a paycheck. And once he gets that paycheck, that will be it. That will be all the money he has to his name.
Oh my god. I'm
It's
assuming he gets to stay in that hotel for free because she works there?
I think so, but I mean, I think she said he's gonna have to get his own room, but she didn't say he's gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they exchange the money at the desk and they say that $46 will last them about 4 days. And she says, it seems he's always working, so it makes no sense how he has no money.
It makes no sense to me too.
Right.
Um if he was working as many hours as he says. Also, I did a quick bing, and, the Las Vegas rent where he lives is, 18% lower than the national average, making
Oh,
renting in Las Vegas more affordable than most cities in the US. That's what Google said.
thank you, Google. So they go to this market, it's called Quiapo in Manila, and he buys some Crocs for $3, which is crazy.
He's
Um,
just so excited
yeah,
to toss his American dollars around and be this big baller.
yes, totally. And she's like, "Okay, but we need to make sure to budget because you literally have $46. Like, we got to budget this money." He buys her a dress and she's just like, "I don't know if we should buy it," but he does. He's very excited about the prices. He's beside himself. I would be too, honestly.
Yeah, but
Um,
not for the same reason. Like, he is excited because he feels like a rich boss. Like,
yes.
"Look at this American man making it rain everywhere," you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Then they buy 3 little face towels for $2 or something.
She's
Um,
always sweaty, I felt that. I
yeah.
feel her on that.
And again, he says he wants to be there in the Philippines so he can be financially stable. And she has already said now in this episode that she wants to go to the US for the opportunity. So, as she's so sorry, as she's buying the towels, the shop owner asks her if that's her boyfriend. And she goes, "Yeah, he's from the United States." Sorry, guys,
I
hold
think she
on.
was embarrassed because he's literally like, "Buy as many towels as you want. Buy 3 towels. Buy they're on sale. Get as many," you know?
Yeah,
He even says at one point to a shop owner, he's like, "Look, just it's like throwing money. It's like crumpling it up and throwing it at the drag queens." Like,
yeah,
because that at the drag queens are performing at a club. That's
right.
not like a joke that you make about throwing money at shopkeepers in a market. Like, it's gross. It's
Oh,
like when Kourtney Kardashian's what's his face on the Kardashians, he shoved $100 bill in the waiter's mouth.
Scott
Like,
Disick.
yes,
Okay, but
because
say who could it have been? It could only be Scott Disick. Yeah.
yeah, but, like, it's that sort of energy that he is having at this market. It's gross.
You're right. When they were talking about the towels, he's like, "Yeah, go ahead, get 3. It's 3 for $2. Sure."
And then she's like, he's American." Like, I
Yeah,
think she doesn't want ever like, it's embarrassing to be that showy, I think.
I
Also,
think so.
maybe you don't wanna I would think anywhere you go in the world, you don't want a target on your back It's like, "I'm American, look how much money I have to spend," because he's
Yeah.
acting like he has thousands and thousands of dollars and he has $46.
Yeah, I mean, because probably she could get that price down for the 3 towel, you haggle
Yeah.
at those markets. So the shop owner says, "Is that your
I
boyfriend?" She
meant
goes,
more a Target for shoplifting, but, like and I think that I'm not saying there, just anywhere that you go. If you look like
"Yes,
a tourist, like,
yes,
you're a target.
yes." So the shopkeeper says, "Is that your boyfriend?" It says, "Yes, he's from the United States." And the shop owner goes, "Go with him. Don't let him get away, because obviously he's loaded."
Right?
Um, so the talking head, she goes, "We're at the market and he seems so impulsive. Like he has no money, but he's spending like crazy at the market."
Yeah.
So now they're getting ready for a date night. And he says he's starting to envision a life with Faith in the Philippines. Now, we saw a big box in his room, and I saw somebody post, I think on Reality Gaze Facebook group, they're like, we couldn't figure out how he was going to move there with one backpack, but
Yeah.
then he has a box in there. So
To
we're wondering, like, did he
ship
like
some
ship
possessions.
some stuff and it was cheaper than paying the $50 for the air, for the transferring it, or it is, like, such a good chance it would get lost with all the plane changes that he
Mhm.
shipped it there and it was less. I don't know, but it was a big box of stuff in his room. That
The
looked like
other thing I thought of was Mama Ting, who we're about to meet, she says is living on, like, the storage floor.
yeah,
'Cause I think that's where she gets to live for free. I was like, "Oh, did she put him in a room where they just, like, store stuff, and
that
then he gets
too,
to stay there for free?" But I
that
do
too.
think he probably shipped some stuff there, and that makes more sense than his one carry-on.
Now I have her as Mama Ding with the D. You said T with the T. You
Sorry,
said
Mama Ding.
Mama Ding. I'm gonna make sure I got
Yeah,
that right.
I think I was listening to the Ting Tings the other day, and
That's
that
not
got
my
stuck in
name.
my head. Yeah,
That's not my name.
yeah, that song came
Um,
on. Yeah.
so they're gonna go see Mama Ding, who lives on the 6th floor in the storage area of the hotel. She is like a second mom to Faith. And so they're all dressed up and they go to her room, which is literally like a storage closet with bunk beds, but it's
Mhm.
very cute and looks like she's made a very nice meal for them.
Yeah, so much
Um,
food.
Lots of food. She's lovely and she's very welcoming, and she obviously really loves Faith. Um, and the talking head, Mama Ding, says, Lauren is my friend Faith's boyfriend, and I support it. But Faith has a lot to learn about him and also just about having a boyfriend. She's never had a boyfriend. So Mama Ding asked them, "How's it going?" And he goes, "Oh, I love her." And she's like, "Yes." He tells me every day. He says, "I tell you every day." So she says, "Okay, so what is your plan?" And he says, "Well, it's complicated, but there is a plan where I just stay here and live here." And Mama Dean goes, "Why?" And he says, "Well, part of planning our future, like the cost of living is so much lower." And Faith goes, "Well, I thought if we were going to be together, we were going to be in the US." And in the talking head, Faith goes, "Well, this is a big shock to me. I've never even known he wanted to live here." Of course, he's
Mm-mm.
not told her any of this. So Mama Ding says, "Well, it's better for Faith if you move to the US." And he goes, "Right, but how? Because in America, I'm homeless." And Faith looks at him like, "What you talking about, Willis?" I mean,
Mhm.
she looks at him like, "What?"
Mhm.
Oh, wait, I have a new sound effect. I should have used it. Hold on. I'm so excited about my new sound effect. Shoot. Oh, I really blew it.
Okay,
All
what
right.
do can
So
you do
she,
it?
yeah. So she looks at him like, "What?"
Okay. Like, is that like a record scratch?
Record scratch. Yeah.
Okay.
I put that on today because we were talking about love. Every time we talk about love after lockup, we're like, "Say what?" And I told Keisha, I go, "I gotta get a record scratch."
Yeah.
Um, if you couldn't hear that, I'm sorry. I didn't. I wasn't prepared with my sound effects. Um, so okay, so she's like, she looks at him like, "What you talking about, Willis?" And Mama Ding goes, "Huh? Oh, sad." Mhm. And the talking head, Faith goes, "He told me it cost a lot to rent a place alone in the United States, but he did not tell me he was homeless.
Yeah,
I worry that he is in such a bad place financially." So back to the table, Mama Ding says,
because there's more to the story.
right. Yes, that
'Cause
we still don't
he
know.
it has to do with those children, I think.
I think so too. And so she says, "Well, look, the two of you, you need to plan. It's very hard here for a foreigner to find a job. Many people here don't work. salary is not good. It's definitely not enough to support a family. He goes, "Well, here's what I'm thinking. I could just make it work with a computer job from America from home. I could work at an American computer job from home and I'll just make American money in the Philippines. So I would definitely have enough to pay rent. And everything I'm doing is for Faith. So we can be together and she can be happy."
I feel like his plan has some holes. I'm not a financial advisor, but what visa is he gonna be on? They
Mhm.
cannot legally get married, which we've discussed.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
does he have to pay taxes on that money?
Uh-huh. And what
Does
company
he
is hiring him?
why if he could it's so easy to get a computer job in America,
Right.
why hasn't he gotten one?
Right. Right. And so in this talking head, he goes, "I put a lot of thought into this, and I know it's a lot for Faith to take in right now, but the plan is to get an American computer job and make American money." And the producer says, "Excuse me, do you have those skills?" And he goes, which was just so good. It
Do
was
you
so good.
have those skills?
Question mark. And he goes, "Well, I have some IT training and I can answer calls or I can do pest control or I can drive a truck."
Well, how are you
What?
gonna do phone calls if it's 1 p.m. in Nevada and it's 4 a.m. in Philippines?
Right.
How's that
Yeah.
gonna work?
He'll have to be on American time,
Yeah.
which I guess people do. There's call centers all over the place. So, he says, "I don't know if Faith now feels differently about me now that she knows this, but I did sacrifice a lot to get here to see her. So I hope she can see that." So back to the dinner, Mama Ding says, "So, Faith, how do you feel about all this?" And she goes, "I guess it's okay. I know Lauren is such a hardworking person, and that's what he's told me at least. And and
He always
and
says he's working when I call.
and he really loves me and accepts me for who I am, and that's all I've wanted." And she says, Mama Ding was the first person she ever told about Lauren. So she's really happy that they're all there together and that she feels like it's going to work out. So in the talking head, he tears up and says, "Yes, that's true. I do accept her for who she is. And that's the biggest thing to her. So I've checked that box." Okay.
So
Well,
Mama Ding can accept that I am homeless and have think I can just waltz in here as an American and become a big time baller here
it's
and,
just sort of like,
have sure.
Mama
The
Ding, wait, there's more.
because I accept her. I
Sorry.
think that's enough. Sorry, I stepped on your sound effect.
I know I was trying to do it again at the right moment, but I didn't have it queued up, guys. It'll be right. It'll be better for next week.
I need
So
Faith to raise her standards, but maybe
I
he is
know.
the best prospect for her, but that makes me very sad.
Does she think he's good looking, I wonder? I mean, I guess she
Yeah, I
must.
don't know.
So the talking head Faith says, "Look, if he stays here, it's okay. Love is all that matters, and financially we could help each other. And nothing is impossible if we're supporting each other. It's not easy to hear all of this, but I'm glad he's being honest about his money now. And I hope there are no more secrets."
So you're just giving up on your American dream?
I guess so. So the next morning, now we see a very dramatic new hero shot of these two that involves a twirl and then a smoldering look at the camera, which is funny. Still not as bad as Tiger Lily's Arab cosplay.
No, yeah.
It's really bad. Um, he has a tat on his inside of his wrist that says 102, and it looks like a prison tattoo. I mean, it's not a professionally done tattoo at all.
Did one of the
We're
drag queens do that in the back of the club
No,
with
I
a
don't think
pen?
no, I don't think any drag queen would approve of that tattoo.
No, they have way more style.
Yeah,
Also, what does that mean?
I don't know. Let's find
Is
out.
that the number of people he slept with?
Well, it changes daily, so that would be
Yeah.
hard. So, okay. So I really cannot believe that he says this about the gonorrhea of the throat because
We should have
I
warned people. We
well,
should have warned that one listener who didn't wanna hear us talking about teeth flossing on
right.
Forbidden Love. They're gonna be very upset right now. This is so much worse.
It's so much worse. I got my nails done earlier today after I went to the doctor. I went and got my nails done, and the girl that was doing my nails had the biggest white pimple on under her nose. It was
Oh.
I couldn't help staring at it thinking, "Girl."
Oh, poor girl.
I know, but when somebody has a big white pimple like that, you're like, "That's when the time is right. Go get it." Okay, sorry to the people who don't like that kinda stuff. I don't like it either. I just gross myself out. So, he goes, I got a call from my friend who, I was staying at her house one night, and she, like, woke me up in the middle of the night to blow me, and so, I what? What?" And now that girl has gonorrhea of the throat, which means I have gonorrhea of the penis.
So that's a fun little thing, he says. He's trying
And
to be
so
all
then
flippant about it.
so then he goes, "Yeah, since I've been here, I have had some penis discharge."
God, I did not. He
Oh
also
my
says
god.
he also says he's never gotten a disease before, which I cannot believe.
No. And he says, "So yeah, today we have to deal with that. So I'm not excited to tell her that. Yeah, that's gonna timing is not great. You know, uh, I want that Philippine dream, but timing is not the best. And yeah, this does have potential to ruin our relationship."
Yeah.
Yeah, you think? Yeah.
Also, if you were planning to pitch, well, it's not a great time because he has not told her that he has not been monogamous. So she thinks he's been monogamous. So she has to tell him, say, "I've been cheating, Faith.
All
A,
right.
I
A.
want to continue having an open relationship that you were not aware of, but with you aware of it. When
Mm-hmm.
we get married, I want us to have an open relationship, and
Uh-huh.
I have an STD that I could give to you if
Mm-hmm.
we are in said relationship because I don't use protection."
Right. And so since he's been in the Philippines, he's noticed some penis discharge, but was going to try to have sex anyway.
That's the thing. He would have slept with her on the first night. If she was into it, 1000% they would have had sex, and he would not have told her about the monogamous thing that he has been sleeping with, that he just slept with someone else a few days ago without protection and could give her anything and has not been tested or anything.
Yeah. Oh,
That's gross.
don't mind that penis discharge. It's no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Don't look directly at that. It does burn, but it's fine.
Yeah.
All right, next time on 90 Day Before the 90 Days, we see I don't know, we see someone, but no, that's not what I meant. We see Tigerlily and Adnan's wedding, and in a talking head together, Adnan says, "The family called it the Festival of Adnan, the
Right.
Adnan Festival." And she goes, "Shouldn't it be the Festival of Adnan and Tigerlily?" And he goes, "No, they just call it by the man's name." And she looks at the camera like Jim from The Office.
Just like
Like,
she's
"What?"
wait, I'm starting to think that this whole situation and this country is sort of, like, male dominated?
She's gonna get it eventually. Um, Niles is headed to the airport to go to Ghana, and he says he's not good in new situations, and he does worry about going to Ghana. And in the talking head, he says, and the talking head, Matilda says, people in Ghana don't understand autism and believe it's a curse. And then we see some of her friends asking her about it, like, is he crippled? Like, we don't understand what it means. And
Mhm.
she does worry that being in Ghana will be hard for him. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm worried too. Um, Brian tells Ingrid he would never sell drugs again. And she says, at this point, I don't know how we move forward. Good job, Ingrid. Good job.
I don't know.
Renee tells Chidi she was brought to him by God, like divine intervention, because blindness is not a normal occurrence. And they're spiritually connected because if he could see, she would not be there.
What was
Huh?
that word salad?
What?
I
Huh?
mean, we have suspected that that is one of the main reasons she loves him is because
Yeah.
he's blind, but I don't know what she's talking about.
And he gives her a face like, "Girl, are you nuts? Oh, never mind. Yeah, you are nuts."
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah. And the Talking Eddie says, I love her deeply, but sometimes it seems Renee lives in an alternate reality, and
She does. Like the
conversations
alien.
like this give me concern and
Yeah, they
worry.
should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Faith and Lauren go to a beautiful waterfall, and he says, "So we can't kiss." And she goes, "Why?" And he goes, "Because I have gonorrhea." Isn't it
I
funny?
hope everyone else heard that.
Isn't that funny? It's
Yeah.
hilarious. Gonorrhea.
Big ballin' American, tossing my
Mm,
money around and having gonorrhea.
yeah. And she goes, "So you had sex together, with this other person?" He goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "That's cheating."
Yeah.
And in her talking head, she says, "I feel very betrayed." And you should.
You
And you should.
should,
And you should.
because we don't know exactly what their conversations were and if it was just assumed that they were being monogamous or if he specifically told her that they were
Well,
being monogamous.
he specifically didn't tell her he wanted to be
Regardless
open.
regardless yeah, exactly. Regardless, she was under the impression that they were being monogamous.
Yep. Um, okay, and last but not least, Rory and Veah are at the airport in, Durban. It just took me a second to remember that. And in South Africa, and she goes, "Whoa, like, I'm tripping, I can't believe I'm here." And he goes, "Yeah, you're meeting some random dude from the internet that you've been talking to. This is weird." And she tells us, "I don't know what's gonna happen when Sunny sees Rory." She's got all this anxiety, and she's like, "It's a shit show, and it could really go south." And then she's, like, telling him to hide and everything, so I don't know if she's gonna make him, like, pretend to be behind a trash can and then, like, walk with them with the trash can or what. Like Scooby-Doo style. I don't know what's gonna happen.
I think 100 I think absolutely, yes. Follow in a cab behind us.
Yeah,
You're gonna stay in the hotel room next door, but wear a mustache
right, right,
and no one will see you. Just carry a big thing of shrubbery that
right,
you hide behind.
right. Works in the movies, works in
Yeah,
the movies. Oh my
or
god.
she's gonna, like, hide him in the attic, like, on Love After Lockup.
Like Christine and Julian, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, uh, where you can make, 1st grade level flyers in your attic office. Um, everybody, that's the end of the episode, and you guys know where you can find our friends Kimberly and Katie. They're at Dateline on Instagram, and they have a great podcast. It's called A Date with Dateline, where you guess what they cover? They cover Dateline.
I know, we really went original on that title.
It works. It works for a lot of things. It's really good. It's really good. And, this week you're covering the Dateline that we had last Friday,
Yes.
and it was called what?
The Shadow in the Window.
Ooh.
It was very good.
Ooh, I haven't watched it. I'm gonna crank that
Yeah.
up tonight. No, I'm not. I have to watch 3 other shows and take notes, but, maybe I will get to watch it tomorrow.
I felt a little bit like we were on 90 Day because there was a big, Muslim theme or on
Really?
Forbidden Love. It was
Mm,
very, but not typical of Muslim families, not
okay.
at all. There's not usually a murder. I hope I made that very clear. I'm not saying that there's always
No,
murder
I didn't think you
in
were saying
Muslim
that.
families.
I just thought you meant one of the characters in it was
This is how I started talking about Tigerlily and doing the voice.
oh, okay, alright. Oh, okay, because you were like, "Oh, it
There's a
reminds me of"
Muslim
yes.
woman who, accepts all the rules and stuff, and then decides she wants to become more Americanized and, like, not cover her hair and things like that.
Okay,
And I was like, well, she knew the rules at least and gave it a quick Google search, unlike Tigerlily, who joined the
right.
religion without knowing a single thing.
She hasn't joined the religion, but you know who did?
No.
Nicole of Nicole and Mahmoud.
Oh god, she
Um,
did. She goes, "I just signed a paper, and then I was Muslim.
yeah. Have you
I
seen them?
figured I'd Google it after."
Have they made it to Orange County yet? They've been walking for a long time. They've been really walking for a
With
long
that
time.
luggage.
Yeah. Where are they? What happened? Everybody, please follow me over on Instagram. It's at Pink Shade Pod. I will be back here on Thursday with my Bravo episode. My guest is TBD. I have somebody booked, but I'm waiting for that person to confirm. So I
Mm.
never want to say who it is until I know for sure, but it will be announced once I know. And I will have a bonus episode next week with Olivia Plath. And this weekend, you'll find me with Amy talking about 90 Day the Other Way and the second to last episode of Welcome to Plathville, the penultimate episode, as you
Oh,
will.
wow. Yeah, these
Yeah,
seasons are short.
yeah. It's 12 episodes, I think. All right, Kimberly, thanks for joining me. I'll talk to you next week.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Thank you for having me.
Bye. Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.